Hi everyone, Matt here. Welcome to the Mythic Invitational Qualifier. We're going to be playing Umori Gruul today. For those of you that have not seen the deck, here it is. Basically, we are an aggro deck that is looking to power out really big creatures, often with haste, ahead of curve. And in the sideboard, we've got 14 creature cards to deal with all different types of decks. Ember Shieldbreaker to blow up some artifacts, Bone Crusher Giant against the aggressive decks, Threshing Brontodon as additional ways to disrupt things like Temur Reclamation, Clothis as a way to interact with our opponent's graveyard, and 2 Voracious Hydra, again as some creature removal in the form of a creature itself. So we're going to fire it up and see how it goes. And yeah, this is good enough to keep. We've got Grazer and 3 lands. If we hit any mutate creature or a Marauding Raptor or a Stonecoil Serpent, we've got an excellent second play. So we're going to go ahead and keep that. It looks like we are up against Sultai Ramp. Alright, and we are going to start throwing down some Stonecoil Serpents to begin pressuring the opponent. Let's crack in with this one here. So one thing that we do want to be aware of is that Extinction Event can hit us next turn. I don't think we can totally play around it, but what we can do is play out the Stonecoil rather than the Ceratop, so we get hasty damage down with this next turn, as long as we hit a land. If they don't have the Extinction Event, we're probably in pretty good shape. One other option that we have, if our board does not get wiped away here, no, they do have it, okay. So not let the auto tapper do us in there. We need to have mana up so that we can haste the Shifting Ceratops. And we do have Ronus as a way to punch through quite a bit of damage if they don't clear the board again. Alright, so we can force a trade with the Cavalier of Thorns here. And we'll be able to put something back on top of their deck. Yeah, let's do this and then give the Ceratops trample. So we're going to get them down to 6. They can grab Extinction Event if they want, but we have a lot of other hasty threats that can punch through the last 6 points of damage. Also need to be aware that Casualties of War is a possibility. Looks like they are going for the Extinction Event though. I am going to take that action. That burst damage from Ronus is a nice way to pump up whatever creatures we do get in play. Another Shifting Ceratops or Questing Beast would be excellent here. Stonecoil. So if we bottom Stone Coil, we can play just Umori next turn. If we put this on top, we play it out, and then we can pump it up with Ronus. That seems quite good. The fact that it is pro multicolor and doesn't get Casualty to War also is really good. And it gets by Pelucranos as well. And also Uro. So, all the heavy hitters. Looks like they're going to bring Uro back, go up to 12. And then we will play a 7/7 Stone Coil. Another Extinction event here would be tough to overcome. We are only 1 mana shy of being able to cast the End-Raze Forerunners as well. Backup plan of getting Umori down and playing End-Raze could help us punch through some extra damage. Okay, so we can't quite double spell. We can punch through some damage here. They'll put, I guess, Extinction Event back on top again with Cavalier of Thorns. So is this worth it? Put them to 5. They Extinction Event, but they can't get rid of Ronus. Yeah, I think we do want to do this. Sorry, put them to 4 rather. And yeah, any land off the top allowing us to cast End-Raze Forerunners is likely good enough. The Extinction Event on even, get rid of the Serpent, and swing in with Uro. Are we blocking is the question. I don't think we are, because I want to make sure that we have Ronus out there if we hit End-Raze Forerunner mana. If they are able to remove Ronus and swing in, we can still win with any untapped land off the top. Alright, so the upside of blocking is that we get Uro off the table. Yeah, I think that, again, having Ronus out there if we hit an untapped land is more important. Come on, untapped land. Alright, not quite untapped land, but this does give us even more pressure. So we can do Umori plus Questing Beast here. And now, with Umori out there, the discount does allow us to cast End-Raze Forerunner, so As long as Umori survives this turn, I think we're going to be able to push through lethal. We can go back up to 7 by attacking with Uro. Yeah, and both Questing Beast and God Eternal Ronus have Death Touch. So if they are able to survive and we can play the Enraze Forerunners, they're guaranteed to push through a bunch of damage. Importantly, they don't have Casualties of War mana up anymore. So they can't take us off of enough mana to cast Enraze unless they are just getting rid of Umori and we miss on a land drop. Alright, and we're going to get there. Close game, but we found a way. Oh, and there's the mana, just in case. Okay, so sideboarding against Sultai with a lot of escape creatures. That means I am definitely interested in bringing in Klothys. I'm going to cut a mountain, because we are going to be on the draw, and we can get away with one less land here. Now, we know they have Nissa as well as Hydroid Krasis as their top end. And a bunch of extinction events. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of even costed creatures, so it's a little bit difficult to play around that. One of the cards I'm considering cutting is Ronus, because it is so ineffective after they clear the board. But it is also one of our few odd costed creatures. Yeah, I'm going to bring in one more Klothys and cut one Ronus. For that reason, I think they are going to have to keep clearing the board to stay alive. And Klothys can pick off Uro, can pick off Pelukranos, mess up their Cavalier of Thorns, and just attack from a different angle. So I think it makes sense to run it back like this. Don't believe we want to bring in the Voracious Hydras. Alright. Yeah, this is a solid starting hand. You can go turn 1 Grazer into turn 2 Raptor, and hopefully unlock not only Shifting Ceratops with that, but be able to haste it up the turn afterward. Also, the combination of Ceratops and Raptor is nice because the Ceratops pumps the Raptor, helping us get through even more early damage. So we have our first real choice now. We can go for the Raptor play that we were planning on. We could also mutate onto the Grazer and just get in 4 damage this turn. Usually I default to that. I think in this specific situation, because the Raptor represents so much additional damage on the coming turns, it's worth getting this one out there. And Sultai does not have a ton of ways to bounce creatures either. Obviously, they're going to have the Aether Gust, but it's not like we're worried about Teferi coming down next turn. Oh. Yeah, I messed up the ordering on this pretty badly. I should have played a 1/1 Serpent and then a Raptor. We're going to have to hold off on getting the Serpent down now. But that's alright. That means that we'll play a larger Serpent a little bit later on. The reason, obviously, well, maybe not obviously if you haven't played the deck, but even though we could play it out as a 2/2, the Raptor trigger would deal 2 damage to it and kill it if we play it post-Raptor. Okay, so a bit of an awkward spot here because would love to get the Ceratops down, but it is kind of wasted in that we're not able to haste it up this turn. Now, one thing I am nervous about is getting Extinction Evented. I believe our best play is going to be to mutate onto the Grazer and then play a 3/3 Stone Coil Serpent. And I kind of want to do this before attacks, just in case they have some sort of removal or bounce spell for the Raptor. I want to make sure that we're getting the extra counter on the Stone Coil. Although if they do remove the Raptor, we can always follow up with a 2/2 Serpent, and there's not much of a difference. They're more likely to want to remove the Gem Razor anyway. So one thing to be wary of, as I mentioned, is the Extinction Event. So if we play out the Raptor and they go the Stone Coil and they go Extinction Event, we can still follow up with a couple Shifting Ceratopses. And this does sort of force them to have it. Yeah, I'm going to play into it a little bit. If they don't have Extinction Event for some reason, I think this puts an incredible amount of pressure on them. And if they do, we can still rebuild. Cavalier of Thorns, also a pretty good wall here. Yeah. We found another Gem Razor or a Migratory Greathorn we can punch through with the Stone Coil Serpent. Throw away a Gem Razor to punch through 5 damage. Could also play out Ceratops. Throw away probably the Raptor then to punch through 7 damage. Yeah, I think we're kind of in pedal to the metal mode because with an Uro coming back to buffer their life total, we're just not going to have many more opportunities to actually get lethal in. It is awkward that we haven't found another green source to haste up the Shifting Ceratops. If we hit a green source off the top, I think that puts us in really good shape. And something like a Greathorn or a Gem Razor for the Stone Coil Serpent can also really help us punch through that last little bit of damage. Looks like they are about to return Uro here, going up to 10. Good news is Uro can't block the Ceratops or the Stone Coil Serpent, and they can't get anything back with Cavalier of Thorns now. Huh. Well, we have a good block lined up against Uro, so I think the play is actually just Grazer plus Clothis here. Threatening next turn again to potentially play a Shifting Ceratops with haste. Don't believe it is worth throwing away a Ceratops and a Gem Razor here to get them 3 points of damage, so we'll just pass. And Casualties of War would be bad, but the upside is it's only going to get a single creature and a land because Klothys is indestructible, and although Stonecoil Serpent is an artifact, it has protection from multicolor, so it can't be targeted. They can swing in with Uro to draw a card and gain some life, but they will be throwing Uro away, and we are in a position now to pick it off. They only have one card in the graveyard currently. Wondering if that indicates a Hydroid Crisis coming down. They shocked there. Could also be Casualties of War. Yeah, it looks like they're going to pick off the Ceratops and our dual land. Alright, let's go ahead and hit Casualties of War here. Well, maybe not. Maybe we pick off our own land so we can mutate a Gem Razor onto the Stonecoil Serpent. Could also play out Shifting Ceratops here. But I think I like this best. Okay. So now we can attack, and they can only block with Cavalier of Thorns. If they do so, they get to get back Casualties of War, but it cannot take out the Gem Razor. Swing with Uro next turn. Yeah, this is a tough decision whether to attack or not. What else do they have? Just Growth Spirals. So we would put them down to 6. They go back up to 9 if they swing with Uro. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Part of the reason I'm deciding to do this is that Klothys does represent additional 2 damage each turn. So they don't really have a lot of time to, for example, find Nissa Hydroid Crisis. And if they do choose to get back Casualties of War, while they can take out our other Gem Razor and blow up another land, they are going to leave themselves pretty vulnerable because we'll still have the 7/7 Pro Multicolor Gem Razor out there. And that would take up most of their turn to do this. And I'm not going to block here because I want to make sure that we still have the Grazer as a mutate target. If, for example, they hit us with Uro, dropping us to 12, and then Casualties of War away, Gem Razor plus a Forest, and we draw Greathorn, we can exile the Forest, putting Greathorn on Grazer, and then attacking in for lethal. So I don't want to give them the opportunity to either not have to cast the Casualties of War or leave us with only the one creature. Yeah, and Klothys is indestructible, so Casualties of war, not actually going to be able to deal with it. Alright, so they've opted to just Cavalier of Thorns here. Interesting. Yeah, so Krasis also cannot block the Gem Razor. Alright, so if we... There's no lands in either graveyard, so that's not an option. So I guess we just want to get rid of either Polukranos or Extinction Event. Probably Polukranos. Get to attack with everybody here. Okay, let's play out our land. Swing in with just this one. Yeah. Well, if we swing with everybody, they can take the 7. They have to throw this in front, because otherwise Klothys just represents lethal. And I'm pretty sure we're just running out the Ceratops post-combat here. I'm wondering if I needed to take Extinction Event now, because with our pro multicolor Gem Razor, the only real way they have to deal with it is through Extinction Event. So they're going to grab Extinction Event here. So we need to play around this by grabbing Umori rather than running out the Shifting Ceratops. So they go back up to 9 here. No blocks. Yeah, I was worried that Polukranos was going to start fighting our stuff, but unfortunately, we gave them an out. Right, so let's go to our graveyard, hit a land, and try to get there on the back of the Shifting Ceratops. They go back up to 7, but they need something else to get around Ceratops plus Klothys. Oh, another Extinction Event. Okay, so maybe it didn't matter if we hit it, unless they just drew that one. Oh man, yeah, they're really buffering their life total now. Wow, Burrow flooded. Alright, let's pick off one of the arrows. So we could play out Umori and then a 1/1 Stone Coil, just as a chump blocker for the Uro. I like this because it's giving us more options to draw our way out of this. So the discount is going to be relevant. And Uro not having trample means that it doesn't really matter how big the Serpent is. We can still get around that damage. So yeah, they're up to 17 though. It's going to be very hard to close it out from here. Ronus could be a good draw. Yikes. Oh, I meant to click decline there. Okay. Well then. That'll do. And going to bring back in the land because we are on the play. And I'm going to go one less Clothis here and see if we can get him. Alright, play first. Got a Grazer, but only one land, so we're throwing it back. This is fine. We're going to keep. We can get away with putting a mountain back here, because we're going to mutate onto the Stone Coil to get all the lands that we need. Let's start out by scrying. We'll play a 2/2 Stone Coil and a Great Horn. Be good to hit an untapped land on our next draw step to continue our plan on curve. Alright. Now, if they have exactly Aether Gust, this is kind of a bummer, but cannot play around that. Gotta go for it. Going to decline that, I think. Let's see. If we put that on top, we get to mutate on for 3 hasty damage and a land next turn. If we hit an untapped land, we get to Questing Beast. No, I'm going to take the action. I think this is fine, partially because it only represents 1 less damage, and it does ramp us quite a bit. Not to mention it makes a really large pro-multicolor creature. So we want to do this first, because we want to be able to scry after shuffling the deck. We have another Aether Gust here that would have been tough, but this represents a decent chunk of damage now. Definitely don't want to see the Grazer. Glad to scry that one away. Alright, so Cavalier of Thorns here is annoying. Get a nice little wall going. I think we can overcome Nissa with Questing Beast. Okay, a 3/3 Krasis is the least threatening of all the things that I was worried about seeing. So here we're going to just play and haste up a Shifting Ceratops, as it maximizes our mana for the turn. And they actually can't block either of these, so they drop into 4. We have Questing Beast to potentially punch through lethal. Alright, got there. Match 1 in the books.